So, what are we going to talk about today?
Something really fun that we did on vacation.
Yeah, something that we've
anyone can do.
always wanted to, well, not anyone.
Yeah, well,
Okay, well, within reason.
anyone that wants to.
Something that we've both always wanted to do. I've always wanted to do it.
Yeah,
And
but we always thought that we had to get certified to go diving.
Well, now you know. Diving. Would you call it scuba diving?
Scuba diving, yeah. With the tank.
So, Farm Girl and I have snorkeled many times over the years. We snorkeled in Aruba and Bahamas and Key West, and
it's always fun.
where else? Mexico.
Yeah.
So, but we've always wanted to dive, and so let's talk about that. This is a video for newbies, or primarily people who've never dived or dove.
And
Dove?
we wouldn't dove probably.
Yeah.
We dived. I don't know.
Okay.
We wouldn't have known unless this guide told us, or one of the salespeople at the hotel.
Yeah.
That we were talking about excursions with.
Okay, so that's important what you just said, because it brings up the point. The first point is ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And so here's the premise of our approach to this discussion. We wanted to dive here in the States over the many years.
Yeah.
But there's always issues, like, is that really a priority?
Yeah.
I've got a million other things going on in my
And
life.
It's
expensive.
Yeah.
We're raising kids.
Yeah.
Kids having stuff is more important than doing, being in clubs and dance and swim or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, it always got back-burnered, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there were issues. We were like, I had never been deeper than the 10 or 12 feet depth of a pool, a recreational pool. And in so
when
doing,
you dive down when you're snorkeling and stuff, you
Right.
don't go more than 10, 12 feet.
In doing that, I found it, the pressure to be sometimes very uncomfortable, downright painful.
Yeah.
And of course, I knew how to regulate by pressurizing.
You can't really do that when you're snorkeling.
By blowing into my nose and holding. I knew that, and so that would make me more comfortable. But I was very leery of that whole depth pressure thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll talk more about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But what we learned, what was the basic thing that we learned
That
you can do
if they're only taking you 25 to 30 feet, you don't have to be certified.
in Mexico?
In Mexico.
Right.
So they give you a little tutorial for about
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Do this. If this happens, do this.
And if
if
you die, we all die. I die too.
If one person dies, everybody dies.
Yes. No joke. I mean, seriously, our guide had 4 people.
Yeah.
4 of us. So, and he was
5,
very
actually.
he was very confident. Oh, that's right. Very confident and competent, and he spoke English well enough to get everything across.
And it was everyone's first time, so you had to make sure we knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
So, and he did quickly.
But
it was nerve-wracking too.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like, oh my God, is it going to be too much pressure for me? Am I going to be able to do it?
Yeah.
And they ask you a bunch of questions before you have to fill out this form, this health form.
Let's jump back to the beginning again. So we're at the hotel, and we'll go back to that. We're at the hotel, and book these. We would highly recommend that you book these things through your resort.
Yeah, because it's going to be reputable, and they're going to
Yeah.
follow through because they're right there, and you can go back to them if they don't.
Yeah, you want to go. You want to go to a really good resort, and they almost always have a tour, an excursion office, where you can sit down with these guys who are in uniform, and they sell for the companies that handle the excursions.
Yeah.
And they don't want to screw anything up, because the hotel, that's part of their rating system, and that's very important.
Yeah.
So
Going to go down in the reviews.
what we learned, and we want to explain some things, so stay tuned, because there's some very important tips here. What we learned is if you decide to just go out for the day and go to, say, Playa del Carmen, and while you're there you say, let's book an excursion here on the street at one of these kiosks.
Yeah, and all the people going, come here.
What a
I'm
bad,
gonna sell you something.
what a very, very ill-advised idea that is.
Well, and we just know that because we met some people that did that, and we're not happy.
This was a very kindly, very decent couple from Belgium that we met, and on the ferry on the way back from Cozumel to Playa del Carmen. And they asked us about our trip, and we were just gleeful and telling them how wonderful it was. And then we said, how about you? What did you do? And they said, well, basically they explained
Nothing
that
that
they
we were
got
supposed to.
completely screwed. She said they booked an excursion, 3 different excursions in Playa del Carmen, and they were supposed to go in the glass bottom boat and a couple of other things.
Yeah.
She said, well, we arrived here, and they said, nope, that you don't have tickets for that. We can't do that.
No, they were like, there is no glass bottom boat.
Yeah, and the boat part of it,
What?
the people were like baffled.
Yeah.
She said, we tried calling the person that sold us the excursions, no answer all day.
Yeah.
So they spent their whole day in Cozumel doing nothing. They just got ripped off, basically. Yeah. And if you've ever been in Playa del Carmen, you know the atmosphere is just harried, and a lot of people harassing you. I mean, literally, they come from all places and shadows and
come by this. Come
doorways. Come look at this. Look at this. Buy this. It's terrible.
And they start out at $45 and go down to $5.
It's
if
worse.
You walk away.
It's worse than Tijuana.
Yeah.
Right there. That
Yeah.
sales experience,
Yeah.
the pressure. Oh, okay. Anyway, so book your excursion with your hotel, with the excursion office. And how
Much
did
more
we do it?
civilized,
We ended
too.
up buying a package, but then changing. Talk about that.
Well, there were different things available, and in one of the excursions, you could either snorkel or you could upgrade to the dive. And the guy just told us that, and we were like, what? Well, we're not certified. He said, you don't have to be here.
Well,
Just
no,
to
I
go
had been
as
told
cheap
that
as-
we could dive there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another couple told us, I told them we were going to go diving, and they said, oh, you have to be certified, and the class is $1,000 per
yeah.
couple.
Yeah.
And I said, no, you can dive. And anyway, we had to clarify that, and the guy was like, yep, $60 more
Yeah.
per person. Right?
Yeah. Such a deal.
Yeah.
But you can get certified down there for like $559.
Yes.
And it takes a day.
And we'll go into that.
It's quick.
But so let's go through the whole process. So we booked it, and the next morning at 8 o'clock, we met out front of the hotel, and he drove us from our hotel 15 minutes to Playa del Carmen,
Yep.
right, in the early morning.
Yep.
We got on the ferry, went over to Cozumel, and then we went to... We got
our Jeeps.
We did a
Got in
Jeep
Jeeps.
excursion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just drove down the coast
Yeah.
to a lighthouse.
We went straight across to the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
Up Cozumel in our Jeeps, and
Yep.
and then we rode along the East Coast to
The southernmost point.
that was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a cool lighthouse.
yeah. And so we visited the lighthouse,
Then we went to a beach
and that was
that had expensive beer.
oh yeah. Oh, that was another stop, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
What else did we see?
Then we saw a crocodile.
Okay. All right. So
I don't know.
we don't need to talk about all. So then we went to a place called
Chankanaab.
Chankanaab. I think I might be saying that close to right. Chankanaab. It's a state park.
Yeah.
And
It's beautiful.
so that was the third or fourth place on our
That was the third.
day of little excursions. And
Had lunch,
we had lunch.
which we probably shouldn't have done before we dove. But
That didn't make much sense
Yeah.
to me. Because you don't want to throw up. Okay. Let us advise you if you're subject to nausea and things like that. Be careful, because she personally knew someone whose partner, diving partner, threw up. We think
in her
down
mask
below, and she died.
and died.
She
like
died.
asphyxiated.
She
Yep.
aspirated maybe. But you can't get in trouble like that down there. So if you're nauseous or anything like that, be advised.
Yeah.
I mean, you can survive. You definitely survive it. You can throw up underwater and use your oxygen, your air.
Don't
But,
drink before you dive.
yeah. Don't go out there drunk. Don't go out there with a bad sinus infection or anything like that.
Well, and they tell you that when you're filling out the paperwork. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went to the hut right there on the beach at Chankanaab after our lunch. Beautiful place. And
Yeah.
beautiful lunch under one of those, I forget what they call those giant
Hut things.
grass huts.
Yeah.
And the guy sat us down and explained everything about diving.
Yep.
And one bad thing for me was my
Oh yeah, your
mustache
beard.
with the face mask. And you might want to bring a little tube of Vaseline with you so you don't have to experience this. The guy said, your mask probably is going to fail because of that. He
Yeah.
said, but if you put some Vaseline on, it'll work. Here you go.
Here's a big thing with
And I
people's finger
really
marks in there.
Thought twice about the whole
Exoman was
thing.
like, oh no, oh no.
And I thought, man, I've been wanting to dive for so many years. Dive, not die.
Just do it, honey.
So I stuck my finger in that old thing of Vaseline, and okay, save your criticism. I took my chances. Ugh. Anyway, it worked, and
Yeah.
so we went out right there in that little kind of bay, right?
Yep.
And
People were snorkeling up above us,
mm-hmm.
and we just got used to it for about 3 minutes, and then started to go down.
Right near there's like stairs there, right?
Yeah.
So it was very comfortable. It was a very comfortable experience.
Well, it was really wavy though, so
Yeah.
that was kind of rough. But
And when I first got underwater, I like to think that I'm not prone to panic and fear and all
I
that
thought
stuff.
I was gonna panic. When I
I
got
was quite a bit uncomfortable right in the
At
beginning.
first.
Like, can I do this? This is so
yeah,
foreign to
it
me.
was it was weird. at
I'm
first.
breathing underwater, and the guy kept saying, relax.
Yeah.
When you get out there,
Yeah.
relax, breathe all the way in and all the way out.
Yeah.
Don't huff and
Short
puff.
breaths.
Don't hyperventilate.
And don't stop breathing.
Yeah.
Just keep.
Don't
Breathing
breathe like you're
calmly.
having a baby. Breathe calmly all the way in. So I remembered that. I did.
And
it.
I couldn't remember what you're supposed to do. I knew you were supposed to blow out of your nose, but I knew there were other easier ways to adjust your ears. And so I swallowed and it adjusted.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, that was it.
That was part of
He
it.
was trying to sign language it to me.
Yeah. One was move your
And I was
jaw
like-
side to side. Right.
Yeah.
And then the
But
other.
when I did that, water
blowing.
went in my mouth.
You blow out of your nose, but hold your nose.
Yeah.
And so
But just swallowing did it. It was
My-
amazing.
all my questions were answered.
Yeah.
We started going down, and I kept equalizing
Yep.
and kept doing that. We would get, and I thought, my theory was that if 10 or 12 feet is this uncomfortable, I'm not going to be able to do 20 feet.
Yeah.
And someone said to me years ago, no, man, don't worry about that. Once you go past 12 feet, it's the same.
Yeah.
Down to 30, down to 40. I had a friend I just talked to on the phone the other day who's certified. He said it's the same. It was the same for me at 120 as it was
What?
at 12.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
You would think it would get more and more the deeper you go because
Hang on
it's
one
that
sec.
much more
yeah,
pressure.
right.
Yeah. It's kind of redundant. But
Pardon me. So it was fine. So
Yeah, we
where
had a
we
blast.
were at that Chankanaab. We dove around and we wandered around underwater. We kept going down, 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 and then we got to the Christ statue, which is very famous. It's basically considered a museum, an underwater museum
yeah, it's pretty cool.
down there. So that was really neat.
We
And-
saw a moray eel.
And you're descending upon something that's 14 feet high. It's a really cool
Yeah,
experience.
yeah. We
Yeah.
just hung out at the bottom, swam around,
And we harassed the
tried not to touch the
stingrays.
coral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was very
That's fun.
fun. So
We were
what
down
else?
there for like 40 minutes, and it was a little bit chilly.
What tips would you give people
I was wishing for a wetsuit.
now that you've done it? What would be your biggest tips for people who've never
Not
done this?
just don't get nervous before because it's
Yeah.
easy. Piece
Yeah.
of cake. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
You're not gonna. Like I read on the thing, have you ever had a migraine headache? I was like, years ago,
Yeah.
I used to get them. I haven't had one in a long time, but I thought, oh, is this gonna make me have one? You know, like I was
Yeah.
starting to jump to all kinds of conclusions. But
And
you
there's
don't need
all
to do that.
kinds of
Just
questions. Yeah, like
relax.
high blood pressure. If you have
Yeah.
high blood pressure and it's controlled, no
It's fine,
problem.
yeah.
Fine. It's just answer the questions. And all right, so now the disclaimers. The scary part. I have a friend who
Oh.
5 years ago, I believe,
Yeah.
went down to the same park, Quintana Roo, that part of Mexico. It's a really safe, nice part of Mexico down on the Yucatan Peninsula.
But it wasn't Cozumel. Was it?
Yeah, I think he dove right out off of
But he
It's on
did a
roof.
deep sea dive. They
Right.
went out.
Well, so he got certified, and that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
one of his four
Yes.
on one of his 4 dives to certify.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He was left out with his wife, and I said, "That's pretty scary." And he told me the whole story. He said, This is a pretty tough dude, and he's been in a lot of sketchy situations.
Yeah.
He's my age, and he's just a rough and tumble guy, and he can handle himself. But he was scared. He thought he thought they were going to die.
Yeah. I'd be looking for sharks and
So I guess
hoping for dolphins.
I guess they put them down with a buoy marker to know the vicinity to find them. He said, so we came up, a buoy, sorry. David Bowie. So they came up, and they weren't found. They weren't located. The people had collected everybody they thought and gone back. And they left my friend and his wife out there.
2 hours?
2 hours.
Oh,
He said, so we come
and
up.
you're out, your tank goes out after about an hour.
Yeah, he said, I was out of air.
And you got weights on you.
He said, so what do you call that thing, your buoyancy compensator?
You have to blow that thing up.
He couldn't use that, his buoyancy, his tank, out of air, couldn't use that to blow up his buoy, and his buoy kept deflating.
Oh.
He said it's a thing that stands like 3 feet up in the water so they can find you. He said, but the seas were higher than that.
Oh, man.
And so I kept having to blow it up with my mouth. And I'm getting water in my mouth. He said,
so scary.
He thought it was over. He thought, what are the chances? If they forgot, they forgot. And that's sketchy.
They went back, they were like, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're missing 2.
Yeah. Some idiot was kept thinking about the cervezas when he got back to base and not thinking about a head count. So be careful. Be careful, and again, book with a reputable company and get your guide and grab him by the scruff of the neck and say, look at me.
Don't
remember this face. Don't go back without this person. And maybe your wife too.
I can't believe that they didn't remember those 2 because they're memorable too.
Yeah. So, but in the end, they all ended
they were
well.
saved.
They were saved.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that's our experience,
We didn't have any problem.
we loved it.
Yeah, we loved it.
We loved it. I didn't
We're
know
gonna
what
get
to
certified
expect.
the next time we go down.
It was a lot simpler and a lot more comfortable than I thought.
Yeah.
And if you do it, just relax, okay? And it's a lot of fun. And it's flippers. It's that dive vest.
Weights.
It's a tank. It's
that
weights.
were filling my hips.
It's that whole buoyancy system where you blow up you've got bladders in your vest that you blow up to bring you up when you want to come up, and you let out the air when you want to sink. This is all
when you go up, you're not supposed to do that until you get up to the top. Then you're supposed to kick your legs to get up.
It's all very rudimentary stuff to people who dive, but again, this is not for people who dive. This is for people who want to dive, want to learn. And again, to summarize, you do not have to be certified in that part of the world. You can do this kind of dive, and you can also doing that introductory dive that we did to 25 feet. Get a card.
Oh, I know. We didn't get it.
And we didn't get it to prove that you've done that dive, and that will count as one of your mandatory 4, I think it is, that you have to have. So you do. What's the first part of your
I bet they have it on file. I bet we could get it.
You do theory. You do
theory.
You have to study about diving, and then you do
a little test.
Pool dive, maybe.
Pool for like an hour and a half or something.
And then you go out. You have to dive 4 times out in the open ocean. So, and that's how you get certified.
Yep.
So, and another tip would be do the practical at home, or not the practical. Do the theory.
Practical.
Do the theory at home.
The theory, yeah.
And it costs you $100 or $200 at home.
For the books.
And then you get out. You get down to Mexico. You bring proof that you have the theory, and they'll just take you for the dives.
Well, they'll take you in the pool for an hour, and then they take you for the dives.
Yeah. So.
And you don't pay as much.
Okay. Any other tips?
I think that's it.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
You'll be hooked. You'll be hooked.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Have fun.